about almost a year now,
In July.
July.
Yeah.
And then 4 months after that, he bought Liquid Nutrition franchise, 3 of them. So he's running service businesses. So he wants to talk to you a little bit about his experience in managing and owning 2 service businesses. So, David, you want to talk to him about, he didn't prepare any slides, but he has some.
I'm gonna ad lib it. And put the timer in here.
All right.
So. Hi everyone. All right, where do I start? When I bought the gym in July, it's kind of like a startup type of gym. So I would kind of get my feet wet. I've been a personal trainer and a massage therapist for many years, and I've been kind of a worker on my own, and I wanted to get to the next step, so I decided to buy a gym. And you don't know until you actually get into it what it entails. And then I bought, a few months later, then I bought Liquid Nutrition. So going from being just a sole proprietor to owning a gym with staff was like going 1 to 100 for me. And then a few months later, going from a gym to Liquid Nutrition, 3 franchises with more staff, was like going from 100 to 1,000. So I had to kind of get my feet wet very quickly. So, but it's what I wanted to do. So the gym I own is in Lachine. I don't know if anyone's from Lachine. No? Okay. All right. So it's a different. Okay. So it's a different type of market than the Liquid Nutritions, which are all downtown by Peel Metro, pretty much, except for one that's up Vendôme Metro. So it's a good thing you talked before, so I know roughly about service marketing. I had something else planned, and now I'm going to kind of get it to the service marketing. So he was talking about frontline staff. All right, how do I start this? At the gym, okay, if any of you, when you hand in your MAA assignments, you can come see me also, so I can get some tips. But the MAA is downtown, so the clientele is different than the one in Lachine. Mine's kind of like an old school gym, so right away that kind of says something about the clientele that's gonna go there. Any of you go to gyms? Okay. So sometimes the gym culture reflects who you are as a person, right? A lot of people like old school gyms where, you know, everything's kind of dirty, everything's kind of like people grunt and groan and stuff like that. And then there's other gyms where everything has to be nice and pristine and clean, you know what I mean? So it says a lot. So the gym I own in Lachine is kind of like it was a former mom and pop gym. And that's kind of what I saw. I saw that everyone, it's a neighborhood gym. It's kind of like a dépanneur, like a convenience store. Everyone in the neighborhood comes to it. You're not going to get anyone coming from, you know, another borough to come there. It's around, maybe let's say a 14-block radius. The people who live in that area would come to that area. And so the gym kind of reflects the clientele of that area. So
You had to focus your target marketing specific to the people in the area.
yeah,
Your
yeah.
advertising.
Yeah, that's a big thing, because downtown, you know, everyone has an Instagram account, at least hopefully, and everything's pretty much digital, whereas in Lachine, half the people don't even have access to internet, or they don't use it, or whatever. So a lot of people have flip phones, so that kind of says a lot, right? So the gym for now, although there's condos being built around it, you know, where it's going to attract, you know, a different clientele. For now, the people who are from there, we rely a lot on door-to-door mailing, like with Publisac, but I have delivery people doing that. That actually works well. And the gym doesn't have an Instagram yet. I'm thinking about it, and it's so close. But right now we have a Facebook, and the Facebook seems to do well. So it's kind of like you kind of have to feel how it is. You know, everyone knows each other there, so that's how I kind of work with it. Like what I said is that you don't know until you actually get into it. I mean, before I bought it, I had this whole plan of what I wanted to do, you know, from month to month. Once you get in, it's like, okay, it's a lot. It's very destabilizing, right? And then you kind of have to adjust yourself to it. You know, there was a lot of anxiety involved. Then, fast forward to a few months later to November, where I bought the Liquid Nutrition. Both these companies have been established since around 2002, so I didn't buy anything new. I bought something to kind of immerse myself in it and to kind of adapt to it. So when I bought the Liquid Nutrition, the gym seemed like a paradise comparatively. You know, it was like, it was a lot to handle 3 businesses at one time. What helped me in both of the businesses was the staff pretty much. It was kind of like a support system. A couple of the staff at the Liquid Nutrition, well, a lot of them actually, know more than I knew when I came in there. I didn't know anything about making smoothies, right? Or I won't be getting Alzheimer's anytime soon because the amount of brain work that you have to do there that to make it seem very flawless. It's kind of like, I guess, comparable to a waiter, but I would even venture to say like tenfold, you know. So you guys know Jugo Juice, right?
Yeah.
So the difference between those two companies, well, first of all, Liquid Nutrition is vegan now. So everything, there's no milk products, everything's organic, non-GMO, gluten-free. But I think what sets it aside as a higher standard on the juice market is the customer service in terms of the people who are serving. I learned from being just a personal trainer where I had to work one-on-one with clients and they came to see me for me, and that was the way I was going to retain my clients, is that you give them their attention. It's the same thing with the gym, and it's the same thing with the, especially with the Liquid Nutrition. So initially you're kind of like nervous, like, okay, are people going to like me or whatever? You don't know until you get into it, you know? And so far so good.
You have loyal customers?
Yes, a lot of loyal customers, that's the thing.
How do you handle a loyal customer versus a new customer?
What do you want?
Are they beside each other, like the nutrition and the gym, or they're like
Completely separate.
completely separate?
Yeah. Completely separate entities. But the Liquid Nutritions are the same the same name, it's just it's three different franchises. So with the loyal customers, it's like you have to kind of know their name, you have to know what they want to order, because a lot of them order the same thing. It's like talking to a friend, right? So in a sense, they're kind of like friends. They're like there to see me, right? And also I have other staff who they know also, so they're coming to see them also. Otherwise they'd go elsewhere. There's a few, like you don't know until you're actually in it and you hear what people say, you know? Because a lot of people didn't know I was the owner, because I actually worked in it a few days, because for that, you have to memorize all the smoothies, all the ingredients, you have to memorize how everything works, and that was like a big learning curve for me. It was like, I looked like, I don't know if you've seen the program where they have the CEO of companies work in their companies and they look like idiots. That was me. It still is, but I'm about 70% now, and it's like, so literally people will say things, you know, they'll be like, oh, I don't like her, so I'm going to the other store or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, then I kind of throw in that, yeah, I know I look a little awkward, can you tell I'm the owner? So, you kind of learn, and you kind of have to, you know, deal with it. A lot of, one person said my first week or 2 weeks of working there, you know, the fact that I was kind of honest, you know, like initially I was like thanking everyone, thank you for your patience, because to implement everything, I mean, you have a lineup of people, and when the anxiety builds up, you know, you have to get everyone's smoothie right, something may happen, someone gets a little unnerved, and it might affect you, you know, because they're like waiting, and they want their smoothie now, or they change their mind, and that slows everything up. You know, it's only one person working at a time, except at the one at Como Royale, which is 2, because that's insane. So, Yeah, you were about to say.
Yes, a quick question.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So the Liquid Nutrition, is that a franchise? Or
Yep, I bought 3 franchises. Yeah.
Okay, so because you're saying you listen to the customers and all that, so I was wondering, like, some of the directives in terms of how to treat customers and like, selling vegan smoothies. Is that stuff you learned from the customer, or that's something from the franchise owners?
I would say, well, the reason I bought it had parallels to my lifestyle. I'm not vegan, but let's say nine meals out of 10 was my lifestyle, so that kind of what attracted me to it. That's about as far as it goes right now. A lot of people who come in don't have to be vegan to go there. It's just about, being healthy, you know what I mean? That's pretty much it. So that doesn't even come up because the word vegan can throw a lot of people off. There's either eating vegan or being a vegan. They're 2 completely different things. Being a vegan is kind of can even be militant. It's almost like a
Yeah, it's political too.
yeah. So that's why they don't even say that. They just say what's not in it, how. So it's a softer way to kind of promote it. And the previous owners weren't vegan; they ate meat. You know what I mean? So it's about the healthy lifestyle. So yeah, that's about it. I'll wait for time. Oh, there's questions. All right.
Was there a specific reason you chose the juice company in that location instead of like a Popeyes or a GNC?
Yeah, I mean, I've known of Liquid Nutrition since the early 2000s, and I kind of followed it, let's say casually followed it, and I knew some of the stores that were there. I knew some had opened, some had closed, but the ones I bought, I knew they've been there for a while.
So the Liquid, it was already a store and you...
Yeah, both at the gym and the Liquid Nutrition were already established. For my learning process, I wanted to learn something established and, learn how to lead a team better. I've had some experience, but there was more that I wanted to do and making proper decisions. When we went for the Liquid Nutrition, I was supposed to have a partner, and she had her MBA, and she backed out. Point being, there's school. I mean, I did my graduate diploma in marketing also. I was in this class. But you don't know until you actually take the risk and get into it and have to lose money over it and have to get sick because you're really anxious. But once you're able to put yourself into it forces you to kind of get your head straight or straighter.
You said it was important to you to make decisions on the go. You thought that was very important, sir.
Yeah.
You're always making a quick decision.
Yeah, we mentioned that, especially at the Liquid Nutrition. Like I said, that you don't get any Alzheimer's. I won't get any Alzheimer's anytime soon because you have to make split decisions. Like even to the fact that let's say you have 5 or 6 people coming in at one time, and 2 or 3 of them are your loyal customers, and then you have a few that you want to get, and then you have to make a decision. Like if you're going to piss off your loyal customers by giving too much attention to the other one, sometimes people will vent their frustrations and tell you. A lot of times they won't. That was my biggest fear, that people would tell me off. That I'm kind of like an idiot doing all this stuff. But it hasn't happened. A lot of times, sometimes people will just leave and then they'll show up and you don't know why. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to forecast that. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask, I know you said you have the old style gym, but you know how nowadays there's a bunch of liquid shops inside of the gym there for pre-workout?
Yeah, we have a little thing there. It's not Liquid Nutrition yet. We're thinking about it. If you know Lachine, there's the Soccerplex.
Which gym is it? The one in Catalonia?
Yeah.
Yeah, Palestra. Oh, you know it too?
I've been
Okay.
there. I was a member there.
Oh, you were? So you know Steve?
They were a couple, right? A French couple?
Steve and then Claudine. They weren't a couple. I mean,
I thought they were a couple.
no. But yeah, so the clientele that goes, it's now upstairs, it used to be downstairs, but clientele that goes upstairs is local. And then they have all the soccer games at the soccerplex, where they have all the soccer moms coming from all over Montreal. So it's a completely different clientele. They're not going to go to the gym because they don't live in the area. So you don't know all this stuff until you get in there. You know, you can do all the market research you want. A lot of it is speculation, you know. You have to learn to adjust as you get into it.
Why didn't you like not decide to go towards like a gym who just does like group personal training or anything that you have relation to? Because general gyms itself is like there's so much competition.
Yeah, yeah.
With all your knowledge, like I feel like
It was something that I wanted to do, you know what I mean? At the time, it just felt like that was the next step I wanted to do, and to see, get my feet wet in there was already a staff there, you know, I like personal training. I've tried at times also to have subcontractors, and I've learned that, you know, if there's already a place, it kind of puts it at a different level, and then people come. Like, I haven't had to look for staff because they're always coming.
There's also a combination of things. There's the price, is established, there's 350 members already, so there's a revenue. Now, it's not a lot, membership is like $15 a month, so it's not like $75 a month. So there was a lot of things going for it, and when we presented to David, he had to think about, this exists, this is what I want to have massage therapy, I want to have more personal training, I want to have more people working for me there, maybe I could make some of my other clients there. So everything said, can I do this, can I do that, and the price was right, because the seller, Steve, you know, you remember Steve, he had to get out, he had a problem with his leg, and he was just, so it was more or less, the timing was there, can I make everything else fit? So that's why he's there. Now, he's realizing that all the marketing, I've been working with him on marketing, a lot of the marketing is different than what he expected in the first place, and he's adjusting to it. You know, I hired a manager from Lachine who can only work part-time. He's more or less fixing the machines one at a time, and the whole business like that. So it's the type of thing that sometimes, but it's service marketing, and that's, you got to make a decision on the spot. You know, so it's
would you look into like purchasing like Mansfield or any kind of high-end gym like Golds or anything of that? Or is that
See, that's funny because the liquid nutrition is high end, like
Yeah.
Mansfield. It just the old school type gyms appealed to me because it's kind of like I've worked at the high end gyms. I've worked at the Sanctuaire, and a lot of the trainers there would work out at the old school type gyms. It was a personal philosophy, you know what I mean? I wouldn't say no to it. At this time, I kind of like it. You know, but who knows about the future? I kind of see that, like, purchasing that, and even business in general is like, kind of like buying a condo. Like, you'll buy a condo and you try to flip it and try to make money off it, you know. And then you might make a net profit, you might lose a bit depending, but then you learn a lot to go to the next step. You know what I mean?
See, what was important to me for David to come is that I've given you a lot of theory. I've given you 8 weeks worth of theory. If you look at the textbook, we had a midterm exam, and it was all theory, but to really speak to something, I had a guy from IBM, sure, and I had, you know, I have my own business, so we talk a little bit about really what's going on, but this is someone who just bought a business, and then he bought another one 3 or 4 months later. All the theory that we're talking about, he's dealing with. Customer service, how to deal with customers, the waiting in line, which we talked about last week, the week before we went away. It's exactly what we talked about. How do you deal with customers waiting in line?
Yeah.
You gotta
And you open up your textbook and say, oh, I didn't do this. You
well,
have to be-
if there's one server or 2 servers, you know,
Yeah.
next and things like that. And what kind of smile do you put on? What kind of service scape, which we're going to talk about today? How do you make it presentable? Does it fit in with what the landlord will let me do? Because David wants to make some changes in the gym, and the landlord will let him make those changes. Because he's got a lease, you know, it's the type of thing that we'd like to add this. He wants to give membership to the people who come to play soccer, and the landlord, hey, we got a roadblock here. So type of things going on. So it's
business leases are not like apartment leases where you're protected by the government. What is it? Régie de la- Yeah, it's like you really, it could be very, very vicious dealing with
Wrong glass?
business leases. You know, a lot can be done, and it's, if you sign your name, you're obliged. You know what I mean? So
How do you deal with like the different pricing strategies of gyms in the area? Like what's the,
I was fortunate also that there, in that local area, let's say a 14 block radius, there's nothing.
okay,
The next gym is 32 blocks down. And the Econo Fitness type thing, which is the one fighting it, is in Dorval.
Shopping center.
So
And they just changed it on this plus, like in the shopping center?
it was an energy cardio and they changed it to O Gym. Yeah. But initially I heard good things about it, but now people are talking that the price is too high for what they're offering.
He's charging what, $15 a month?
Yeah,
Like, it's in the,
15,
it's in the
1.5.
ghetto.
yeah.
Oh,
But energy cardio is $10.
That's what he
You know,
said.
so not Econo Fitness.
Sorry, just that this is maybe, I always wondered why they never tapped into the performance. Like, my kids play hockey and I pay trainers to like train them and stuff like that. Why they never tapped into the sports performance from the soccer? Because soccer parents are crazier than hockey parents.
The issue
Like,
right
they don't
now.
have, like, if you go to a lot of rinks and a lot of indoor things, like there's the grass, you know, they can drive the sleds, they can do all this, the sports specific stuff,
Yeah.
which is a growth market right now.
Well, the issue, okay, the issue with the landlord and all that, the building is an old building, and it's 6 brothers who are in it, and they want to retire. So I'm gonna be transparent. They probably don't care. They just want to rent out. They rent out the soccer fields for the soccer. They're making their money. They want to just collect their money, and that's it. So anything that I have to do to go through that sports performance, I also have to go through the landlord to maybe even rent, and that's more money added on. And in the area, how many people want to do that? In the soccer areas, another issue, we're trying to work with the soccer teams so that they get free access to the gym for just a little increment in each league's price, and that's an issue. So it's a lot of issues that are outside my control, a lot of frustrations. I'm just like hounding the landlord often.
He's running into another frustration with the Liquid Nutrition, is one of the stores is being closed down this month because they're renovating the building. So he does have to pay rent, but he has staff that want more hours, he has to move them to the other 2 stores. He owns the Liquid Nutrition at McGill, the Union Building. The one at
Smooth
McTavish.
building, SSM building.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyways. That's it? Oh, we got another question, sorry.
What's your experience with dealing with the franchise owners? So like the corporation, how lenient are they? Are they ball busts?
I won't lie, it's an issue. You know, there's certain, like for instance, the social media marketing. They have a social media manager. When I want to do a promotion, I have to run it by the head office, which is basically a couple, and they don't live here right now. But then, let's say I'm dealing with the social media person sending pictures or whatever. It has to do, like I'm learning it on the spot. It's not as big as a Subway, let's say, because Subway has thousands of franchises. There's 4 here in Montreal, there's a few in Toronto, and in other countries in states in the US, you know. It's relatively small compared to a Subway. So, yeah, dealing with issues, you know what I mean? So you kind of have to, you know, you're invested, or I'm invested financially, and there's roadblocks. And then if my frustration transfers to the employees, you know, it's not a good thing either. So that's pretty much.
He's got some really good employees.
Yeah.
Liquid Nutrition, he's got a couple of young
Yeah,
managers
yeah.
that really want, and they came to him, they said, we want a raise together, 2 of them. So he has to deal with that on the spot. They want like like a 20% increase as
Yeah.
opposed to a 5% or 10% increase. He said, with us, you're in big trouble. You gotta know how to deal with that. He's got to deal with that on the spot.
Yeah,
and so,
fear of losing good employees
you
and all
know,
that. You know.
two of them were running, the two managers of the two stores, the successful stores. So
Yeah.
you gotta deal with that too. Which is what we're gonna talk about today, how important are frontline staff, and how far do you have to go to keep them happy before you're breaking the bank? You know, that type of thing.
Yeah, learning to negotiate, you know, not, initially, I mean, I won't lie, I'm like, they're so great, I gotta give them, you know, what they're asking for, right? They took this time and they wrote me this nice big email, and I'm talking with my accountant, he's like, that's thousands of dollars, you know, you're not even, and already, because liquid nutrition is a seasonal business, like the ones outside are not doing as well, then in the summer, that's where it picks up and does really well. So you have to kind of deal with that. And then at the same time, you get bombarded with people want to raise, things break down. It's a lot. So.
There are guidelines that you need to follow in order to provide a good customer service.
There's no like classes you take or like meetings in terms of that. When I was trained by the former employees, there were certain things that they, you know, you kind of watch what they were doing because they've been there for a while too. And just some of the knowledge that I already kind of knew, you know what I mean?
There are training courses to train the staff, how to do it properly. But to train customer service, the individual locale has to train its customer service. So, you know, also what's important, that something David learned too very fast, is what we talked about 2 weeks ago, is capacity and demand. How much food do you order that doesn't go bad? Because don't forget, it's perishable. And you know, you gotta be careful, you gotta watch, you gotta know your hours, you gotta monitor how busy you are on which days, which hours, which holidays, which days of the week, lunchtime, afternoons, how, not only when you keep your staff, but how much food you have, how much backup you have. You can't turn around and say, sir, we have no bananas, I can't make you a smoothie. The person's gonna be gone and you'll never see them again. So there's a lot of things in the service business that you have to take into account, and he's learning on the go.
Yeah, like if you make, let's say you add an extra scoop of strawberries, you know, or even go past whatever the level is supposed to be that was calculated for the price of each smoothie and their profit margins, it adds up. Like you give a little too much and it adds up and you could be losing, you know, thousands of dollars by the end of the year. Like it's those things and like...
And you can't shortchange it because the customer will know.
Yeah, learning that computer, like it's different ways to enter a price, you know what I mean? There were some things that were pre-established, but then some people want something that's specific to what they want, and then there's different ways to do it, and then sometimes the price doesn't end up the same, and...
Is the liquid nutrition building a brand and expansion, or that's it, they just have that amount of franchise and?
No, they're looking to expand.
They're always looking to expand.
Yeah, I brought it to David, so I know the owners, the franchise owners, and they give me permission to sell other franchises. If people are available, people want. So if you really want.
Are you worried about Freshie coming in?
What's that?
Are you worried about Freshie coming in?
Fresh is already here.
Yeah, with the whole 1 or 2?
Yeah.
Like Toronto, they're every corner.
Well, it's like Second Cup and Starbucks and Tim's, or
It's
they
all
were,
McDonald's.
you know.
So Second Cup is just like a couple of Canadian guys. It's not McDonald's.
Well, liquid nutrition was a couple of Concordia students. Yeah, it's Montreal.
Very rich
students.
Is the location in Stanley still open?
Drummond.
Drummond, yeah.
Yes.
That one's still open?
Yeah, I'm
That's
there.
one of yours?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm there this week, Monday and Wednesday morning.
All right, thanks. Okay, I want to
I
talk
used
about
to
some
work in
theory.
the area, so I used to go
Okay,
down
okay.
a lot.
Okay, let's talk about some theory. Thank you, David. You want to back up?